On the question of conflict of interest, and we've seen the president publicly take issue with this matter, even as the LSK disagreed and said that senators can indeed go ahead to, represent their clients as lawyers. What's the take of the Legal Affairs Committee of the Senate?
I think, thank you for inviting me today in the evening. One thing is that that matter has been put to rest by the petition, I think petition number 278, if I'm correct, of 2018, of DCJ Mwilu on the aspect on conflict of interest, where the senior counsel, Senior Senator James Orengo and Senator Okongo Mugeni, where the courts say that you cannot argue the conflict of interest in generality. And I think that matter has been put to rest, that there is no conflict of interest. For example, in the case where Senator Murkomen and Senator Mutula Jr. are representing Governor Sonko, that matter does not arise any conflict of interest, because it will not, or it has not come to plenary or in the committee, or whichever case, that matter that is already in the court is a sub judice. So it means it will not come to the Senate.
Well, it's clearly not a matter that has been put to rest, because we know even now a bill is being prepared on the same. But let's stick with existing legislation. Article 75 of the Constitution says a state officer will behave in a manner that avoids any conflict between personal interests and public or official duties. They're also to avoid compromising any public or official interest in favor of personal interest. By acting for Sonko, are the senators not explicitly compromising the official interest of the Senate, which is explicitly rather to oversight counties from excesses like the ones which Sonko is alleged to have committed?
When you look at I think Article 71 on Chapter 6 on leadership and integrity, it defines state officers as people who should not profit from gainful employment. When you look at, I think Article 266, 260 defines a state officer, including members of the commissions that are part-time basis. So on this occasion, I don't see any conflict of interest whether senators represent governor in this matter.
Are you saying senators are not state officers and do not represent an arm of government?
No, they of course, the courts, and that is why there are three petitions that have raised on this. The one at the IEBC was decided. The one on the Peter Kaluma representing a clan also decided. The latest one was of DCJ Mwilu, the petition of 2018. And the courts have tried, and they have really explained. If I wish the Kenyans would read that ruling that was delivered by the High Court on the conflict of interest, and specifically on the issue of QC. You remember the DPP, Director of Public Prosecution, hired a Queen's Counsel who was supposed to be the lead prosecutor against the case of DCJ Mwilu. And also the issue of Senator Mugeni and Senator Orengo representing the DCJ came up. The courts exhaustively dealt with it, and I want to repeat what the courts have said by inferring, say that conflict of interest cannot arise in generality. It must be specific. So in this case, they are saying, in the argument, for example, is that when Senator Mutula Jr. and Senator Murkomen were preparing for the petition or for the court case of Governor Sonko, did they by any way absconded their parliamentary duty over what they were supposed to be as a counsels before the courts of law?
If I may cut you short on that, because you've raised a very important issue of absconding, what their parliamentary duty would be. And as you're well aware, there have been calls for a special sitting of the Senate, and one of the people who can convene that is actually the majority leader, backed by, I believe, is it 15 signatures or so. And despite the Nairobi senator saying that this is a critical issue, we need the Senate to convene and discuss this matter. We have heard at least media reports quoting the Speaker of the Senate saying no such thing will happen unless the bona fide office holders, as per standing orders, make that call. We've seen Senator Murkomen not move to call the Senate. Is that not perhaps evidence of that conflict of interest, that he is in fact engaged in a case at the court that should be the subject of a matter that he would preside on or deliberate on in the Senate?
When you look at standing order number 1, the Speaker of the Senate, according to standing orders of the Senate, he has the power, prerogative power to apply, notwithstanding standing order number 30, which you are referring, that it can only be called by the leader of majority and leader of minority, supported by 15 senators. But I want to draw your attention to standing order number 96 or so, that talks about sub judice rule on the standing orders of the Senate. So in any case, this matter where Governor Sonko has been charged on corruption allegations, it is a sub judice matter that will not come before the committee or a plenary session. Because you are telling Kenyans, for example, if Governor Lusaka, Speaker Lusaka, convenes a special sitting maybe next week or for Senate to discuss leadership crisis in Nairobi, you mean that one of the plenary questions that will arise is a matter that is already in court. And I've said the courts have developed on this issue when they discuss about the petition on the DCJ Mwilu case. And therefore, when you look at standing orders that you are talking about, with standing order number 1, standing order number 30, and standing order 96, there is no direct conflict of interest. And I've told you, even the definition of the Black's Law Dictionary defines that there should be no competing interests.
Fair enough. I need to hold you there. We're taking a short break on Punchline. Remember, we're going to be joined by Senator for Nairobi, Sakaja Johnson, a little later in this program. Stay with us. But Joy, let me start with you. We have heard the senator vehemently defending the Senate, saying there's no such thing as conflict of interest. This is a matter that's already been ventilated in court in previous decisions. What's your take?
Thank you so much. When we had the decision by the court allowing or saying that it's not a real conflict, if sitting legislators actually represent accused persons in court, at that time there was no situation like we're facing right now, where we've got a Senate leader who is going to be in charge of an impeachment process if that happens, being the one actually representing somebody. And when I saw the senator in court, I told myself, well, there goes the option of impeachment, because if the leader of majority and the one who would be whipping the party if it comes to impeachment is the one representing the governor, then there is a direct conflict of interest. It's not a conflict in law, but it is definitely a moral question. And morality dictates that he ought to not have taken that matter, because the potential is there. If an impeachment comes, the potential is there for a direct conflict, and there's no escaping that.
That's quite true, but isn't something else a little murkier playing out here, which is the internal wrangles in the Jubilee party? You know, it's become pretty much mainstay that if the president goes left on an issue, then everyone who's supporting the deputy president, more than likely, except on BBI, I suppose, will turn right, and even that is just in recent weeks, right? So are we also seeing Jubilee politics affecting the oversight role of the Senate in this matter?
Sometimes I think politicians wouldn't know the truth if the truth slapped them in the face, because in such a situation, Jubilee as a party would have dealt with this matter way before it got where it is right now. The governor has been without a deputy forever. He has been at many times operating with less than the prescribed 10 CECs. He has time and time again done things that were outside the script, as it were, because the law is fuzzy, and Jubilee as a party has not called him to account. Then now when this happens, of course, like you say, it's a matter of sharing the spoils, because Governor Sonko is still a Jubilee legislator. He's still elected on a Jubilee ticket. And so you would expect that Jubilee as a party would have had the gumption to deal with this before it got where it is. And even now you see how it's being played out in the House, where the Speaker is saying, you know what, even me, I'm going to keep my people on recess so that you effectively defeat a motion for impeachment. Yeah, and
so we're seeing that in the Senate as well. Cherargei, you have raised the fact that even the Speaker has the power to convene the House. That's the Speaker of the Senate, but we're also hearing the Speaker of the County Assembly has spoken exclusively to K24 this evening, and we'll be seeing that report shortly, also saying that she is not going to recall members of the County Assembly who, as you know, met yesterday to discuss the possible impeachment of the governor in such proceedings beginning this week. Are we seeing, Senator, the complete breakdown of Jubilee? I mean, is this just how bad it has gotten? More than dead, now even smelling, cannot perform basic functions regardless of your role, purely because of party politics?
I don't think the issue of Jubilee arises here, because the struggle in county governments, and we have recognized corruption as one of the impediments in terms of service provision in this country. And even it has gotten the attention of President Uhuru Kenyatta. I don't see any Jubilee politics being played, because I don't think any court of law would hear matters based on politics offenses. It's
not about just the politics, it's about your ability to carry out your function as a senator being compromised by what is going on in your party.
I think what I have insisted is that there is no matter that has come to the House that is of national importance that the Senate has not given necessary attention. For example, the public debt the other day, did you see any play out of the factions that you are saying are within Jubilee? In fact, the public debt ceiling that was being passed in Senate was passed unanimously. You didn't saw those functional faction that you are saying that exist in Jubilee. So in my own opinion, and as a Jubilee legislator, there is no such intentions or political driven that because of wrangles in Jubilee or disagreements in Jubilee are scaled down to affect the functions of county government.
But Joy has raised a valid point. The governor in question, Sonko, is a Jubilee governor, and a Jubilee-controlled Senate has been unable to ostensibly deal with this matter. Why is that?
No, I don't think, in fact, it is not, what you are, I think, Anne, what you are just saying is that why is it that Jubilee governors are being charged in courts of law because of corruption? But mind you, the Director of Public Prosecution is here to tell Kenyans that there are many counties, and you have had the chair of CPAC has recommended over 24 governors from both Jubilee and the NASA coalition to be charged because of corruption, and he has okayed the ODPP and EACC to investigate. But I agree that the Senate is of course the majority of us in the Senate are from Jubilee side, and there is no matter that has come that of national or county interest that has not been given attention that it deserves. So any aspiration that because the Senate majority leader, Senator Murkomen of Elgeyo Marakwet County, by the fact that he is one of the councils in Sonko's case, will affect any decisions that will be made. Either, as I've seen, I think, I don't know whether it was your television network that was having an interview with the Speaker of the Nairobi County Assembly, Speaker Beatrice Elachi, by saying, she is in fact saying that she has written an advice to seek advice from the Attorney General on the impending, but it scales down to the standing orders, because I've seen the minority leader, I just saw in your news, that has written for convening of a special sitting. So even the County Assembly of Nairobi, the majority of them comes also from Jubilee. But I want to assure you, if any matter that is of county interest or national interest that will come based on the county governments of Nairobi or the Governor Sonko, if anything happened, because I want to tell you the impeachment process is not a legal process per se, it is more of a political process. And therefore, if that comes to that extent where the Senate will be called upon, we'll make our decision based on the merit.
You'll deal with it impartially, I suppose is the point you're making. Joy, your final comments, we've got about a minute.
That's going to be a bit difficult because it is a political question. But if somebody is already in court and you have already seen that the leader of majority has decided to take up the matter, as an advocate, of course, everybody deserves representation. But I would be interested to see whether in Parliament or in Senate, when it goes, whether the leader of majority will have the gumption to say, in this matter, I am conflicted, I'm standing down. Same with Senator Mutula, because this is one of those things that, like I said, it is not a legal question, it is a moral question. But over and above that, it is also about time that governors realize that accountability is demanded. And when it is demanded, it's not devolution under attack. It is the bad manners of corruption in our county governments that is under attack. And if you don't want to be attacked, then do what is right and stick within the law.
All right, and we've seen, perhaps a final question to you, Joy. We have seen, the position of the Treasury, even in an earlier report, saying right now, if your county is undergoing all this sort of, if you like, bad financial management, be it from corruption or paying bills, whatever, that they're going to be withholding monies until governors are able to get their house in order, and governors are decrying that. They've also called for an emergency summit and to have the president present there to discuss the issues of Nairobi. That does not seem to be taking place. They're feeling slighted in some way. Do you think those views are justified?
If we look at the law strictly, the Treasury has got no grounds whatsoever to withhold funds from counties. That's the law as it stands. The money that's supposed to go to counties is sacrosanct and is supposed to go to counties regardless. However, the President has spoken about this issue twice regarding clearing pending bills, and that there are some counties that are still in defiance. Some governors talking about these ghost bills from previous times, but there are others that have been audited, and the tickets that, the certificates that have been completed are supposed to be paid. In such instances, then I think the governors have a point, and I've seen some of your commentators saying as well, that the law needs to be made clearer, because none of us wants funds to go to counties where there are already serious accountability issues. So there needs to be that clarity where under what circumstances can Treasury go ahead and withhold these funds? But as it stands right now, if we look at the law, strictly speaking, Treasury cannot withhold those funds by law. But I think they're using fiat to say, you know what, we know you guys have got problems, sort it out. And you can see the justification, but at the same time, they're acting out of the law, and I guess that's why the governors
they're using something called kifua.
Yes, because I have the money, I'm not giving it to you.
Exactly. All right, and that's our time. Thank you so much. The Samson Cherargei speaking to us, and of course, Joy Mdivo, former magistrate. We're back with Nairobi Senator Johnson Sakaja after this to talk about what next for Nairobi. Stay with us.